I'm back with another video, and this is just me reading something that perfectly encapsulates how I feel about Bethesda yet again releasing more Skyrim. Um, this is an article from TNW, Tech News World, I guess what it's called, and it says Bethesda's bleeding gamers dry and I've had enough by Rachel Kaiser. This is from a day ago. So here we go. Um, In case you were lucky enough to miss Bethesda's tepid showing at E3 2017, blockbuster RPG The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is getting yet another re-release. This time it's coming out, at least in part, in VR. If this were the first or even the second time that Skyrim has resurfaced, I might not bat an eyelash. But since its release in 2011, that's 6 years ago, it's been re-released 3 times now. For current-gen consoles in 2016, and VR and Nintendo Switch this year. Hey Bethesda, I'd like to see you pack away Skyrim on a trophy shelf somewhere and move on to brighter new projects. For all its virtues, Skyrim is a relic and has no business going back on the market for full price. Virtual fantasy. Bringing Skyrim into virtual reality isn't in and of itself a bad thing. VR is a burgeoning industry and needs an accessibility boost. It could be a point of entry for gamers who need more than tech demos to invest in a headset. The idea that someday you'll be able to wander the entire northern province of Tamriel in VR is a dizzying prospect. Skyrim would also be more interesting in VR than, say, Fallout, because Skyrim has more air-based enemies like dragons, giving players a good reason to crane their necks skyward. The game also already has first-person perspective. If all things were equal, Skyrim would be an ideal candidate for repurposing in VR. But given how much time and the limelight Skyrim has already had, this feels like an extension of an already painful milking process from Bethesda. Creator's pet. Skyrim is such an odd case in the annals of gaming, considering not even the other games in the Elder Scrolls series were popular enough to warrant this level of focus and attention from their creators. Even the Fallout games aren't getting this much love. In a way, it makes sense. The game is one of the best-selling of all times, rivaled only by Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto 5, and Nintendo products. The game has paid for itself and then some. There's some information for Nintendo. Only a little over 5,000 employees. But I would have thought this unparalleled success would give Bethesda space to work on other projects and leave the reinvention of Skyrim to the modders. Scoring a touchdown doesn't give you license to dance in the end zone the rest of the game. Open world gameplay. Don't get me wrong, I like Skyrim. It's a decent RPG with a fun story and side missions, but I don't think it has the kind of replay value necessary for me to buy it on 4 different systems. For me, the game's Achilles heel is its refusal to lock the player into a role in any way. In Skyrim, all your options are open from the word go. You can pick any collection of skills, weapons, armor, unconstrained by traditional role-playing game tropes such as playing a role. Want to go stealthy and enjoy the Thieves Guild? Done. Just head to Riften. Get a taste for blood and want in on the Dark Brotherhood? They'll be waiting. Go knocking at the door of the noble companions. In spite of the fact that you're now listener for the Brotherhood and Nightingale with the Guild, they'll welcome you with open arms and never question you about other commitments. It's a wonder the Dovahkiin has time to eat. Not that they have to, because the game doesn't have survival mechanics. My point is that Skyrim doesn't try to constrain you. That makes it fun to play, but not so much when it comes to replaying. Last I checked on my character, I was Thane of all 9 holds, had sworn myself to every Daedric prince, and taken over every criminal enterprise short of becoming captain of a pirate ship. Why would I ever go back and start a new playthrough, considering I'd be doing all the hundreds of hours of side quests over and over again? Modding communities. I can't go without mentioning the current lifeblood of the game, mods. I'm convinced that mods are at least 80% of the reason why anyone still plays Skyrim, and I'm being conservative. I'm not immune to it either. At least 100 hours of my time in the game were while it was modded to the point of being unrecognizable. I find it very telling that some of the most particular mods for the game remove the central motivation of the game. One of the top mods of the PC and Xbox One versions of the game lets you live another life outside the game, inside the game world, skipping that whole pesky business of being destined to being the destined world savior and dragon soul eater. Other mods let you go through the otherwise non-existent process of selecting the type of class you want to play, each with particular skill sets typical of the role. In other words, you can download a mod that will give you the ability to roleplay in a role-playing game. That's in italics. For emphasis. Alternatives to Skyrim. Imagine if instead of Skyrim for $60, Bethesda released a different Switch exclusive RPG. It wouldn't even have to be from the Elder Scrolls series, though it'd be thrilling if it were. Or imagine the VR version was a short demo set in a thus far unexplored region of Tamriel, like Black Marsh or elsewhere. This is a problem I've had with the gaming industry in general for years. Games seem to be constantly re-released, drops of blood extracted from their bodies until they're downright anemic. But Skyrim has been re-released 4 times in 6 years, which is extreme even for this industry. Let me be clear again that I'm not bashing Skyrim because I dislike it or I think it's a bad game. I've logged hundreds of hours in it, and I enjoyed most of them, but it's just one game. No game on the planet deserves that many bites at the apple, at least not without more meaningful overhauls than what it has received. And before anyone says, you don't know what you're talking about, you bastard, you fool. Let's see here, Skyrim. Yeah, 71 hours on this game. 356 hours on the original game. So basically, if you combine those two, 356 plus 71, I have played 427 hours of this game. Okay? Tons and tons of my time in this title. I'll give you more information about how I feel about Skyrim and all that shit after the cut. Alright, so it's time to talk about why I basically feel that the author of that article is right on the money. Basically, this game has been re-released 4 times at this point. There was Skyrim, then there was Skyrim Game of the Year Edition, then there's Skyrim Special Edition, which was re-released for, everything. Now it's being for current gen consoles. Then now it's being re-released for VR and the Switch. So actually, that's 5 versions of this damn game. I mean, goddamn. This shit's getting ridiculous. Very, very, very ridiculous. It's getting old very quickly, and frankly speaking, I'm tired of it. I don't know if, I'm not buying this game again. I know some people are like, man, I'm gonna get it on the Switch. Look, I'm just gonna keep it real with you. If the Switch version doesn't have mod support, don't buy it. Just don't buy it. And I know some people will say, we have to buy this game in order to have third-party support. Look, the fact that Nintendo has to publish this game means that they're essentially money-hatting this game. Now, of course, the fact that they're publishing it, they get a cut of any profits made. But I mean, Bethesda has already made their money off of Skyrim. The fact that Bethesda didn't put any games that were actually, newer, didn't take any risk with putting a game on the system is telling, okay? And this is yet another sign of the bullshit that Nintendo gamers have to go through with third parties. And people ask, well, why do Nintendo gamers not like third parties? Because of shit like this. Okay? This is what brings down the party for everybody. Okay? And so, essentially, what I'm saying is that at this point, there's nothing we can say except, fuck it. I mean, that's all we can really do. I mean, there's no valid reason to support this shit anymore. So, with that being said, I bid you good day, enjoy the rest of the video, and adieu. Oh snap! Before I go, I forgot. Stay tuned this Sunday at 7 o'clock to 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, 7 o'clock p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I'll be doing a BS Busters Fun Day cast where we'll be talking about all types of fun topics. The triple Xbox, the third party conundrum, which doesn't seem to ever end. it's a continuous cavalcade of bullshit. And we'll also be talking about video game movies that are tangentially related to video games. They aren't video game movies, but they're related to video game movies. So look forward to that, and that's it. Peace. Driving fast down the highway, must have been insane, 'cause the temperature's too high, traveling way too fast.